Good afternoon, redesigners. It's Cece from Cece Restyled. I am a brand ambassador for Redesign with Prima, and today we are going to be doing some stamping with the new clearly aligned decor stamps and some adhesive. And so first of all, I'll start by showing you a project. Okay, so I've got, big surprise here, some drawers I'm working on, okay? I'm always working on drawers because they're so perfect for embellishing. I mean, am I right? So our project is this, it's a tall chest of drawers. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawers, but this one looks like 2, so it's 5 drawers, but looks like 6. 2 of them I've already got over here taping off for straps, some subtle metallic stripes. And then, so every other drawer we're gonna do stripe, stamp, blank, stripe, stamp, blank, or every other faux drawer face. So we got a little pattern going on. Stripe top drawer, then the stamps, then a blank drawer, then blah, 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 all the way down, okay? So if you're hopping on, say hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to show you some more with the stamps. Are you tired of stamps already? I'm not. Stamps are fun. There's so many things you can do with stamps. So today we're going to work with the stamps and adhesive. So I'm just using a foil or leaf adhesive, okay? This is a stamp I'm going to be working with today. It is called Vintage Wallpaper, and that's the whole pattern, okay? It's the whole pattern, and it comes in 3 parts. So there's a bottom part, this middle part is all one piece, and then the top part is all one piece. So you can use 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece. You can use obviously I've used mine quite a few, as you can see. They're a little used, but we're gonna go ahead and grab one of our pieces. I'm going to start with this piece because on the drawer that we are going to be working on right now, it's kind of thin or narrow right here. So I think I'm only going to be able to fit, part of my stamp on there. Okay, so I'm really trying to keep the design in the little inset areas, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and, I should have done this before, but I actually kind of spaced it. I'm going to tape off these little, see the little bevels all around the face of the drawer? There's a couple of bevels. I'm just going to tape it off so I just have that flat part that I'm working with. And that way I won't get adhesive or ink or paint or whatever you're using with your stamps. You can keep it within your nice, crisp, clean square or rectangle or whatever shape that you're working with. You don't have to do this, but I'm really trying to keep the embellishments inside of the drawer fronts, okay? At least these. At least the stamps, maybe not the transfers, but, and if we get to it, I'd like to show you transfer application over these drawer faces. I see a lot of people ask the transfers, how do you get it to fit on the drawers without looking funny? How do you get it to go over these beveled or inset edges, whichever, you're working with. These ones are beveled. Sometimes they're inset, and you can work around it. So that's what we're going to do if we have time. But for now, we're going to stick with stamps. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stamp adhesive onto our. Now we have our little working area here. Let me. Let's see if this is a better view. How's that? That better? Okay, so. There we go. Boom. Boom goes the dynamite. That's a money shot right there. All right, so we are going to first take our adhesive. I am using Artsyville foil adhesive because it's the best I found. It stays tacky. Obviously, it's thick, and obviously it's wet, it's glue, but it dries to a tack, okay? So it'll stay tacky until you put something on top of it, which is awesome because you can use other types of glue like maybe Mod Podge, Aleene's Tacky, stuff like that. But those will all eventually dry and, be dry. And once you miss that window of where it's tacky, then you're kind of up the creek because you have to redo it. You can't make it re-tacky. So this Artsyville stays tacky, which is awesome. until you're ready for it. So I pour some out on a plate, and I'm using my foam brush, my roller brush here, which is from Redesign with Prima. These brushes are amazing. I use them for paint, metallics, adhesive, obviously, stenciling. They're so perfect for stenciling. So I poured a little bit of my adhesive out onto my plate, and you'll feel like you're using a lot, trust me, but it's worth it. So worth it. And then you want to roll your roller brush, you know, pick up that adhesive. You want to press down firmly and pick it up into the spongy part of the roller. These come with 4 different roller heads, this extra long handle, and then a little acrylic plate you can use instead of a paper plate, but I don't know where my acrylic plate went, so we're just using a paper plate. Plus I can toss it. Anything I don't have to clean is good in my book. Okay, so there's a drawer face. We've got our roller all nice and loaded up with our adhesive. And so now we're going to take our piece of stamp, okay, that we chose, and whichever piece you want. And I'm just gonna do it on here. I'll do it on here actually. Okay, so I'm gonna roller it on. You probably want a flat surface, but I'm just trying to, for demonstration reasons, I gotta kind of do it on here so you can see, you know what I mean? So you wanna roll it on firmly. You wanna make sure you get that adhesive all over the back of your stamp, okay? Nice and even. The thing I like about stamps is they're different from a stencil, whereas a stencil, you're usually trying to get a nice, crisp, clean edge. Stamps, you can shoot for that also, but the thing I like about stamps is that they lend themselves to a more aged, distressed kind of look, because it's hard to get them 100% perfect, and I'm all about that imperfectly perfect, you know, look. So I think on this, see, this is one portion of the stamp. We can do the kind of pointed areas, we can do it in the middle, we can do it this way. Let me think for a second and see. On the other one, I'm going down. Why don't we go up on this one? So why don't we line it up from the bottom? Or let's just kind of center it. Let's just center it a little bit so we get the best of both worlds. And it doesn't really matter as long as you make sure you keep it fairly straight all the way through. So you can use your hand to press down carefully, not to move it. You don't want to move it around because then you get a fuzzy edge. But you can use your hand. You can use a brayer. You can use a roller like I just showed you to do this. You can use a wood block or acrylic block and kind of stamp it on there that way. I'm okay with just using my hand. Okay, so once we got that on there, we're going to peel it up with both ends up, okay? And you cannot see my glue impression, but I can. And it's there. So we're going to go ahead and glue. This is not here. I'm going to roll it up here. That makes so much more sense. Let's see. All right, so we're going to load up our roller one more time with our foil or leaf adhesive. Okay, and then roll it up. Oh. Okay. Load up our roller brush. I love this thing. This roller brush is thebomb.com. You can get it from some Redesign with Prima retailers. If your retailer doesn't have it, try Etsy. If you can't find it on Etsy, which I'm sure you will, then tell your local retailer to get on the ball and get them some roller brushes, okay? They're kind of necessary in this life. All right, so we're gonna roll on our adhesive, just like we did the last round, and we're gonna line this up right next to where we stamped our first adhesive impression. And okay, so it's a little hard to see for you. I can see the shimmer of it, so I'm gonna line it up. And see how I'm going over that keyhole mold? It's all good. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to go right on over that keyhole mold. But first, I'm going to press this flat part down. And then I'm going to go over my keyhole mold. And then I'm going to press. Okay? So you don't want it to move around too much. But you do want to get a good impression. And I'm not worried about getting the adhesive on my keyhole because I'm going to be gilding that with some gold wax in the very end anyway. So even if I get a little gold foil or leaf on it, I'm okay with that. Okay, pull it up. We got one more impression to do. I'm just gonna roll it on here with my adhesive real quick. Roll my adhesive on the back. Now to clean these stamps, whether you're using adhesive or paint or ink, whatever, you know, whatever you end up using, there's a few different ways you can clean them. I personally like to use a scrubby soap to clean mine because it gets down in those little details, but it doesn't ruin your stamp. It doesn't ruin the design. I've seen people use, you can use a brush, a plastic, like a toothbrush kind of deal, but bigger. What are those called? Little scrubber brush, like you would use on your dishes. You can use one of those. Depending on really what you're stamping is how heavy duty you need to clean your stamps. But I do suggest you clean them with the warm water soap and whatever brush you choose, whether it's a scrubby soap or old toothbrush or your husband's toothbrush, whatever, you know, some kind of brush. So I'm gonna do that here in just a moment, clean that. And let's set that to the side. So on my drawers, I didn't mention I added these keyhole molds, and on one of the drawers with the stripes, the drawer with this that I'm going to be putting stripes on, I added some resin molds that I made. Can you see that? It is a crown with the keyhole, the same keyhole that I used on the rest of the piece, and then some wings. So I'll show you the molds I used while we let that. We want to let that dry to a tack. So it'll take about 15 minutes or so to dry to a tack. But I have got another drawer that I went ahead and pre-rolled, so we're ready to go. So I'm going to move this one out of the way. I'm going to show you the molds I used real quick, just in case you're interested. I get a lot of questions about which molds I used. So I might as well go ahead and show you. But it's okay, somebody will still ask. Grandeur keyholes. If I had to pick any one mold to take with me to my grave, it would be Grandeur keyholes, because I use it on everything, because what doesn't need a keyhole, you know? They're pretty and they're functional normally. I mean, they're supposed to be functional. These aren't. These can be functional, I guess. I also used wings. It's just called wings. This is a mold from the Finnabair line. Just called wings. And then Victorian adornments, okay? So these are actually Christmas ornaments. Or holiday ornaments, my bad. These are holiday ornaments. See how they have the little thing for your, yes, my fingers are very sticky from that adhesive. It's really tacky, sticky. It's kind of tacky too, but so see that for your hook or your ribbon or whatever? You can make those red and green or silver and gold or whatever Christmas colors you like. I like hot pink and lime green. That's my favorite Christmas colors. But I cut off this top part. I cast the mold. While the resin was still soft, when I took it out of the mold, I just took some scissors and I hacked off that top part. So it's not a Christmas ornament anymore. It's a drawer ornament. So there you go. Victorian ornaments. Get you some, make you some Christmas ornaments. See, I don't make actual ornaments with these because I got to do everything the hard way. It would be too easy just to have an ornament mold. All right, so now we can go ahead and move on to our drawer. We're going to pretend we sped up time and that it's dried to a tack, but in reality, I have one here that is already dried to a tack. It's just a little bit different. It's a little bigger. So on this one, on this draw, I did, so on the last one, we just did that one section of the stamp. On this one, I did two. I did the bigger section and then that middle little section with the kind of flowery guys on it. So this one's a little bit bigger, and let me, there you go, and here we go. Just like magic, dried to a tack. And okay, so with this adhesive, we've kind of got the world at our fingertips here because we can use a number of different mediums on this adhesive. It's sticky, right? So like just about anything will stick to it. A few of those mediums would be foils, okay? So these are Prima foils. I just grabbed some different golds. They come in 6 sheets. Pull out the sheet, lay it down, Rub it just like you would a regular transfer, okay, with a stick or your little transfer tool. Okay, rub it. I prefer the stick for these because they can, you know, you need a little bit of muscle with the foils. But rub it with a stick and then rip it off like a Band-Aid and you have the shimmery goodness left, okay? So those are the foils, similar to a transfer, but gold or whatever pattern you want. And you can also use mica powders, which I didn't grab an example of those, but it's just a pigment powder that's usually metallic, and you just sprinkle it on and then wipe or blow away gently the remaining, you know, or glitters or embossing. Embossing powders, it looks like glitter, but you sprinkle it on and then you heat it with a heat gun and it embosses, so it kind of puffs up and it has a texture and it's really cool. And I love doing that. It's just kind of tricky on painted surfaces because when you use the heat gun to get the embossing powder to melt and puff up, then it can kind of bubble up your paint, melt your paint. So that's a little trickier. I don't know. You might want to practice with that if you decide to try embossing powder on a painted surface. But today, because I don't think I have enough of one color of foil for both of the drawers I'm doing, I think we're gonna use gold leaf. Okay, this is gold leaf. You can get it at the craft store. You can get it at Amazon. No, it's not real gold leaf. This is just the Michaels brand because Prima does not make gold leaf yet. I better get to working on that, with somebody. Prima we need gold leaf. We need all kinds of gold leaf. We need red gold leaf, pink gold leaf, purple gold leaf, extra gold leaf, sparkly gold leaf. We need all the gold leaves. So it comes in these little sheets, leafy sheets, very, very delicate, okay? So with all this adhesive on my fingers, you would think I should probably be careful touching it. At this point, I think I've touched so much that it's not as sticky anymore, but anyways, my point is it's very delicate. So when you handle it, you want to handle it very gently. Sorry, my throat is scratchy. You gotta get a drink. So we're just gonna start on one side and work our way. Again, you can't see the adhesive, but what we just did on that last drawer, I already did it on this drawer, so it's already sticky. Tacky, dried to a tack. It's not tacky. You're not tacky, it's okay. It's just dried to a tack. So we're gonna start on one side and gently lay our gold leaf like that, okay? And then I like to kind of just gently press it on there so that it can start to stick. So you want it to stick, so you want to kind of give it a little bit of a, nudge to stick on there so it's not just laying on top. Okay, so once you're pretty sure you got it to stick to your adhesive, then we can start to brush away the excess. Some people scoop up and save those little excess bits that fall off. I wish I could be that kind of person, but I'm just not. So we're just gonna let those fall and vacuum them up as soon as this video is over because my OCD will kill me. It kills me doing this. I love gold leaf. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous every time, but it kills my OCD, I'll tell you that. When I'm not on camera, I follow my brush around with a shop vac so I can just scoop it up as I go. So I'm brushing it away with this chip brush. You want a brush that's kind of firm, okay? Not like super hard, rigid, firm, but firm enough to where you can push away that excess and get those negative spots in the pattern. You want to get rid of those. See what I'm saying? So can you see how our pattern is coming? Can you see, or is there a glare? On my screen, there's a total glare. But as you kind of brush it away, you kind of poke, stab at the little negative areas and they start to disappear. So your negative areas create your shape. Let's see, what kind of resin do I use? Tanya, for my molds, I use Alumilite. It's a fast casting resin. It's called, I'm having a brain fart. Amazing casting resin. If you get it at Joann's or Michael's or in the smaller, like 8 and 16 ounces, it's called Amazing Casting. Amazing Casting resin, but I buy the 2-gallon size, so it's just the brand Alumilite. It's not. They don't bother putting the fancy name Amazing Casting on it. Jerry, yes, you should seal your gold leaf. They make gold leaf sealer. I actually am using Glaze Couture in Champagne, and I do not believe that that will turn it green. The only time I've ever had a metal leaf turn green was when I waxed it. So that wasn't a very great idea. But I've used gator hide mostly on my gold leaf, and it's always been fine. Unless it hasn't been fine and just no client has ever called me to tell me my pieces turned green. So there's that. I'm just going to be honest. But I have pieces at home. Actually, I have pieces here in the shop that have gold leaf, and I have not noticed them turn green. Let me see if I have any more questions real quick. Okay. I don't see any more questions. Hi, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate you. We're going to continue on with our gold leaf on our draw here. All right, so we got our bottom corner. We brushed off the excess. And now we're just going to move along to the top corner. And we just want to make sure all of our adhesive areas are covered. You can lay it all on there at one time and then brush it away, but that's not as fun as just doing it as we go, right? Am I right? So I need another pack of gold leaf. So again, we're just kind of patting it on there, making sure it's sticking to our adhesive. And then see how I have this big little chunk right here left? I can just rip that off gently. Rip it off gently and just kind of place it over here. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Am I right? Okay. Waste not, want not, but I'm sure as heck not going to pick it up off the floor and throw it on here. I know some people do that. More power to you, but once it hits the floor, I'm good. It's just these too tiny of pieces for me to try to scoop up, and I'll end up having dirt and hair in my adhesive instead of gold leaf. So that's why I'm not scooping it up off the floor. Okay. All right. So let's brush away our excess. Okay, and then we want to take our stiffish brush, firm brush, and kind of just chop in the opposite direction, okay? So we're not brushing like that. We're kind of like chopping at an angle to get those negative spaces to kind of release what's not stuck. And that is how you really get that detail to come out. Oh gosh, can you guys see how pretty that is? I don't even know if you can see it on the camera, how pretty it is. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and move onward. Onward. We're going to keep going. And see how delicate it is? It's just sticking to my thumb. Just sticking there. We're just going to plop that bad boy right there. Right there you go. Boom. And then, let's see if we can get this whole sheet out. Come on. Being stubborn. Come on. There we go. Beautiful. And you can get this in gold leaf, silver leaf, copper leaf, variegated gold leaf, which is my favorite. And that reminds me I need to order some more variegated gold leaf. Variegated gold leaf it looks just like this, except it looks like it has like burn patterns all over it. So it's got this really neat kind of burnt look, but still sparkly and metallic. And I love it. It's really cool. You can get some colored leaves like pink and green and blue and purple. They're a little bit different than this gold leaf. The texture, they're just a little more brittle. So when you do this, like I'm doing with the brush, instead of flaking, they like powder into dust. They turn into purple dust or blue dust or whatever. So it's just a little different. Works the same. At least the kind I've used from Amazon is like that, but it's all right. You get little metallic mica, little powders all over your fingers. All right, so let's see. Finish working out the excess leaf from our details here. Come on, you little stubborn. This guy right here is being stubborn. Is there a glare or can you see? Pam, so I get the stamps are redesigned with Prima, and the adhesive you can use just about any foil or foil or gold leaf adhesive. I use foil adhesive, and you can get that on Etsy. The stamps you can get from a Redesign with Prima retailer. The roller brush I use to apply the adhesive to the stamps is a Redesign with Prima roller brush. You can get that from a retailer or on Etsy. And this gold leaf you can just get at the craft store or Amazon. I get this from Michael's. With a coupon, of course. Okay? Am I right, girl? All right, so we're just gonna press that on, and we're gonna just keep chugging along here, getting our leaf to stick to the adhesive. That's the name of the game, you know? Stick it and brush it away. Okay, if you're just hopping on or you missed earlier, after I lay my gold leaf onto the adhesive area that I stamped, I'm using a firm-ish brush. It's a chip brush, so medium to high firmness, okay? You want it stiff enough that it can give some, you know, pushback here to get the adhesive, leaf out of the negative spaces where you don't want it, which creates our pattern. All right, so we're gonna finish off this drawer face. I was gonna try to show you fitting transfers to drawers, to drawer faces, like how to measure and cut those a couple different ways, but I'm thinking I'll probably have to do that in another video because I don't think we'll have time. I don't think we're gonna have time. I mean, I know I don't have the time. You might. Let's go ahead and lay down our next piece of full leaf. I always get foil and leaf, the words confused. I always call one the other, and I know what I'm talking about in my head, but then I get, you know, I'm silly like that, you know. All right, so we're patting down our leaf, making sure it's nice and stuck on there. We can rip off this excess part and reuse it. Okay, and make sure it's on there good. Okay, we didn't get our keyhole mold too leafed up, which is fine. Wouldn't have made a difference, but it's not, I'm not leafing the keyhole per se on purpose. All right, so we got it on there, pressed down in there good. Now we're gonna take our stiff brush, firm brush, and kind of chop away those excess leaves that we don't want, and watch our pattern appear. We watch our pattern appear. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're almost done with this drawer. Okay. So one thing I want to show you, because I don't just like to show you how to do stuff, I like to show you how to fix when you screw up. Okay. So see, I don't know if you can see this. Gosh, let me see. See where I lined up my stamp here, and I didn't do such a great job because the adhesive is hard to see, you know. At least that's my excuse. See how there's that line there in between where my stamp impressions go? Well, we don't want that line. I mean, I could probably fudge it and distress it a little bit to make it less of a harsh line. So that's one option, distress it a little bit with some sandpaper. Option two, I'm just gonna take a little dab of adhesive. I'm just gonna kind of dab along that line so that it's not a harsh line. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that harsh line that gives away the fact that I tried to line it up and it didn't go so perfect. Other than that, I mean, I don't think anyone would be able to tell, because like I said earlier, with stamps, you know, you get a more of a little age distress kind of look just by nature of the stamps. So, okay, so now that I dabbed a little bit of adhesive on, I'm just going to take a little bit of gold leaf and kind of band-aid that boo-boo. I'm really just trying to get that harsh line to be not so harsh. Why you gonna be so harsh, man? And just kind of shove that excess away. Boom. You can't even tell now. It's perfect. See? It's perfect. Man, there sure is a glare on my screen. I hope y'all can see. Okay. There. Bet you can't tell where I lined up that stamp, can you? Bet you can't tell. All right. So we've got a little bit left to do. And then I'll hop off. Boom. I'm gonna lay that one down. Let's go ahead and lay down the rest of our adhesive, or the rest of our foils. Then we can just knock them out in one shot, be on our merry way, and bid you adieu. There we go. Now this last little section, I'm just gonna take one piece. I'm going to rip it in half as gently as I can. Whoop, whoop, that's not quite half. My math teacher would be very disappointed in me. Lay it on there. Lay this one on there. Okay, so with our brush, we're just going to get our foil to stick. Okay, stick the foil. Stick it, lay it on there kind of firmly, make sure it's sticking to the adhesive. Once you're pretty sure you've got it nice and stuck to the adhesive, you can even go over it with your hand if you want, because really, you know, it shouldn't be sticky because everything that's sticky should have foil on it, right? So you can go over it with your hand if you wish, okay? But you're still going to need a brush to do the choppy chop 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 to get that leaf out of those negative spaces. Okay, so like I said earlier, I'm sealing this with a glaze, a water-based glaze, so it should not turn green. Like I said, the only time I've ever had it turn green is when I've used wax. However, they do make gold leaf sealer, so if you are not sure and you don't want to take the chance and don't believe me, grab you some gold leaf sealer, seal your gold leaf area, okay, let it dry, and then you can seal the whole thing with whatever sealer you choose, okay? So there's that. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had one turn green that I know of, and same with foil, same with foil. And okay, so last little thing here, I'm just gonna dab a little bit of area right here because it's kind of a little void. Can you see that little void? So I'm just gonna kind of dab with my finger some adhesive, grab a little bit of foil and fill in that little void right there. So, you know, you can manipulate it just enough to where you can get the look you want and not, you know, make it look how you want. Make it look real good. I hope that you try this with the stamps and that you show us, because I just love seeing anything with gold foil. Gold foil or silver foil or any kind of metallic foil is my jam. All right, so let's get all of our excess wiped away, and boy, I can't wait to vacuum this stuff up. Ooh, OCD is going cray-cray right now. Oh, look, my foil matches my boots. How funny is that? I didn't even think about that when I got dressed today. All right, so this is our gold leafed draw face. Okay, ooh, look how pretty. Ooh, it's so pretty. Ooh, it's so pretty. Right. Okay, so anyways, so that's that. That is all she wrote for using adhesive with the stamp, clearly aligned Decor Stampies. Put this down real quick. Woo! All right, let's see real quick if we have any last questions off the bat. Oh, gold leaf is, it's so fun. You can do it on a stencil. You can do it on just randomly on patches. You can do it under epoxy pours. You can do it layered with transfers. Yes, the adhesive I'm using is the Artsyville foil adhesive. You can use just about any adhesive, but I like the Artsyville. I let it set for 10 to 15 minutes, usually about 15. The reason I like the Artsyville is because it dries to a tack and it stays a tack. It doesn't dry to the point where it's too late. Sorry, you gotta re-adhesive your surface. It stays tacky until you put something on it. So it's perfect for people like me who forget what they're doing every once in a while and get distracted. But yeah, about 15 minutes. The name of the stamp is Vintage Wallpaper. It is, oh, there it is. Vintage Wallpaper. And it looks a lot like the Distress Lace stencil that everybody loves and wants and can't get. So if you are one of those folks who want that and can't get that, try you something new and get you a stamp with the same-ish pattern, okay? All right, well, I'm gonna hop off here, and I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me for a little bit. If I find any more questions on the replay, I will be happy to answer those, but I hope you all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and I will see you next Thursday right here in the Redesign with Prima group at noon EST. See you later.